Leo friends, let me be honest with you right from the start. Monday, November 3rd is not just another start to your week. It's the kind of day that could shift everything if you let it, a turning point written into your timeline long before you were even aware of what you were carrying inside. If you're here, it's not by accident. You were pulled here because something in your spirit already knows something big is about to move. This isn't superstition or hype. It's alignment. The kind of alignment that doesn't knock, but resonates deep in your chest before it ever shows up in your life. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 7 things you absolutely should not do on Monday, not because you're being punished, but because the moment ahead requires you to show up in a way you've never had to before. What's waiting for you isn't small. It's sacred. And if you've been feeling off, restless, or strangely emotional lately, you're not crazy. You're just in tune. There's a rare energetic gateway opening on November 3rd, and Pluto is squaring the Sun right in your sign. That's not a minor transit. That's pressure with purpose. It's transformation disguised as tension. For you, Leo, this means it's time to shed the last layers of self-protection and step into the kind of truth that doesn't need to shout to be heard. The tarot card that came forward for you is the Star. Now, the Star doesn't show up for everyone. It arrives when the storm has passed, and the soul is ready to believe again. That tells me you've been through something heavy. Maybe silently. Maybe in ways no one else truly saw. But you're still here. Still standing. Still carrying light even if it flickered. And that's why this message matters. Because your breakthrough? It doesn't scream. It whispers. It hums in the stillness. And it arrives when you're ready to stop chasing and start aligning. Now, I want to take a second to thank you genuinely for being here. Not just as a viewer, but as a presence. Every time you like, comment, subscribe, or even just watch silently, you're doing more than supporting a channel. You're saying yes to your own growth, your own curiosity, your own becoming. So thank you. Truly. Your energy is what fuels eternal mindfulness. And this space wouldn't be the same without you. And Leo, you're going to want to stay with me until the end of this one, because what the universe is revealing through this portal, it's not just powerful. It's personal. Now tell me honestly, what did you do, or what did you stop doing, that brought you to this exact moment? Because timing like this? It's not coincidence. It's calling. Drop a comment below and say it out loud. I am aligned with my destiny 777. Let that be your anchor. Let it be your declaration. Let the universe know you're ready. Now, let's talk about what not to do when the stars are this loud and your soul is this close to what it's been waiting for. What if I told you that everything you've been sensing lately, those restless nights, the sudden quiet tears, that odd calm mixed with a sense of urgency and confusion, but confirmation? That's the kind of moment we're stepping into, Leo. November 3rd isn't just another Monday on the calendar. It's a convergence point. A sacred intersection between the preparation you've done in silence and the destiny that's been waiting patiently on the other side of it. And what's most beautiful about it? You don't need to force anything to cross that line. You just need to recognize what's already in motion. The card that showed up for you is the Star. Now, the Star never arrives without reason. It's not a card of fantasy, it's a quiet revelation. It shows up when the worst has passed but the soul still needs a reason to hope again. It's a reminder that even after a long winter, the soil knows how to grow something new. And Leo, you are that soil. You are that ground that's been broken and turned and tested. And now, something sacred is trying to bloom through you. From an astrological lens, Pluto the great transformer is squaring the sun, right in your sign. This is no small moment. It's intense, yes. But it's deeply personal. Pluto brings the kind of pressure that reveals the truth you've been trying to hide, even from yourself. But not to shame you, no. To free you. Because when you can finally look at who you've become, scars and all, and still say, I'm ready, that's when real alignment happens. This isn't about becoming someone new. This is about remembering who you were before the world told you who you had to be. And when that remembrance begins to rise within you, it won't be loud. It won't be dramatic. It'll feel more like a door slowly opening in a house you forgot you lived in. One quiet creak, one gentle light, and suddenly everything makes sense again. We don't talk enough about how sacred stillness is. How healing doesn't always show up as motivation or epiphanies. Sometimes it shows up in your ability to breathe through something you used to run from. Sometimes it shows up when you stop fighting and start listening. Listening to your body, your energy, your own emotional rhythm. And right now, that rhythm is aligning with something much greater than your plans. Energetically, November 3rd is like a key turning in a lock that's been sealed for years. And when it turns, things that once felt stuck, relationships, ideas, old grief, new callings begin to move. Not because you forced them to, but because you're finally in the right vibrational space to let them. There's a verse that says, "Be still and know." And while we don't need to attach ourselves to any dogma, the essence of that line holds powerful truth here. Because on this day, your stillness becomes the doorway. Your ability to trust becomes the access point. You're not being called to push. You're being asked to trust the quiet unfolding that's been happening behind the scenes of your life for a very long time. The things that feel heavy now may actually be the things preparing to lift you. The emotions that seem overwhelming are just energy rearranging itself. The people drifting out of your life may not be rejecting you, they may simply no longer match your new frequency. And the stillness that seems eerie? It's not emptiness. It's sacred space being cleared for what's next. So, if all you do right now is breathe and allow, that's more than enough. Because sometimes, the most radical act of faith is not to chase what you want, but to align yourself so fully with who you are, that what's meant for you finds you with ease. You're not late. You're not behind. You're exactly where the light needs you to be. Just stay with the stillness a little longer. It knows where to take you. Sometimes the most important thing we can do is know when not to act. In a world that constantly pushes us to perform, prove, and pursue, there's something revolutionary about choosing to pause, to listen inward, and to let clarity rise from stillness. That's exactly what November 3rd is inviting you into, Leo. Not another to-do list. Not another race to become something more. But a sacred opportunity to realign with what's already inside you, unfiltered, unforced, and fully enough. Let's talk about the first one, not seeking external validation. I know that can be easier said than done. Most of us were raised in environments, whether families, schools, or society at large that only acknowledged worth when it was visible or applauded. But the truth is, your value was never meant to be measured by someone else's approval. You weren't designed to fit into someone's expectation. You were meant to radiate from your own center. And that light you carry? It doesn't need to be spotlighted. It just needs to be trusted. Next is your intuition. That subtle nudge in your chest. The gentle knowing that shows up before logic can catch up. If something's been whispering to you, Latilia, feeling, a recurring thought, even a dream, it's not random. That's your internal compass. And ignoring it now would be like silencing the very guide that's trying to walk you into your next chapter. If you've ever said, "I wish I trusted myself more," this is your moment to start. But trusting your intuition isn't enough. You also have to act on it. That's where so many of us get stuck. We feel something deep and real, but then we second guess, hesitate, or wait for proof. But spiritual timing doesn't work like that. It doesn't give you the entire map before you take the first step. It just gives you enough to move and asks you to trust that the rest will unfold. Just like the Fool card in tarot teaches us, leap with faith, not fear. Also, keep it close for now. Not everything you're birthing needs to be broadcast. Some dreams are still seeds. Sharing too soon can expose them to doubt, comparison, or misunderstanding that weakens their growth. There's a difference between secrecy and sacred protection. What's forming in your spirit right now is sacred. Let it take shape in peace. As you move through this energetic shift, you'll probably notice certain people pulling away or you feeling distant from connections that once felt aligned. Don't fight it. This is spiritual pruning. And just like plants need old leaves to fall so new ones can grow, you too are being cleared for your next season. Releasing isn't rejection, it's respect for your evolving frequency. Another trap to watch for is comparison. It'll sneak in, especially when your path feels unclear and someone else's looks shiny. But here's the thing, you weren't created to repeat someone else's life. You carry a blueprint unlike anyone else on this planet. Your timeline, your breakthroughs, even your challenges, they were tailored for your soul's unfolding. In numerology, 1 and 7 show up here for a reason, 1 for bold new beginnings, 7 for divine wisdom. You are both the pioneer and the seeker. Finally, don't underestimate the power of stillness. The silence you feel? It's not emptiness, it's space being cleared for something bigger. You don't have to force doors to open. You just have to stand in alignment, and what's meant for you will arrive without struggle. Some of the most profound shifts in life come like breath, soft, subtle, and utterly transformative. So if you're feeling the urge to act, pause first. Listen deeper. If you're unsure, wait for peace. And if everything seems quiet, know that it's working in your favor. This isn't a time for pushing. It's a time for positioning. And the best thing you can do now is simply to be still, be open, and be ready. What's coming doesn't need your performance, it needs your presence. There comes a moment, often after long seasons of silence, when what you've carried quietly inside you begins to rise, not with noise, but with a calm knowing. That's the energy of November 3rd for you, Leo. And it doesn't come with fireworks. It comes like the sound of your own breath when the room finally quiets. This isn't the beginning of something new. This is the unveiling of something ancient within you that's been growing all along. You've been planting seeds, some consciously, others without even realizing. Every time you chose faith over fear, silence over reaction, peace over pressure, you were planting something. And just because no one saw it grow doesn't mean it didn't take root. Harvests don't announce themselves, they reveal themselves. And this is your moment of revelation, not because you performed, but because you aligned. The judgment card in tarot is often misunderstood. It's not about being judged. It's about being awakened. It shows up when it's time to strip off the layers of survival and reclaim the self that existed before life taught you to hide. This isn't a reinvention. It's a return. And Leo, you're not returning to a weaker version of yourself. You're returning to the part of you that never needed to shout to be strong, the part that always knew where it was going even when you didn't. There's a power in becoming still enough to recognize your own reflection without flinching. To see your strength without needing struggle to define it. You don't need permission anymore. You don't need applause. What's happening now is not for validation, it's for confirmation. A quiet yes from the universe that says, you made it through the dark, now walk in your light. What makes this moment sacred isn't just what's arriving but who you've become in the process of waiting for it. You've endured without resentment. You've held space for others while healing your own wounds. You've shown up when it would have been easier to give up. That's the kind of soul work that doesn't always get credit but always gets reward in divine timing. And this reward? It won't look like a trophy. It will feel like peace. It will feel like clarity where there used to be fog. Confidence where there used to be doubt. It's the quiet kind of abundance that doesn't flash, it flows. That doesn't beget, belongs. Energy-wise, this is what I call a soul alignment window. It's that rare timing when the outer world starts to mirror the inner changes you've been making. You may find opportunities showing up without you having to chase. You may reconnect with parts of yourself you thought were gone. You may finally feel at ease in your own skin. That's the fruit of inner alignment. That's the blessing of still doing the work even when it felt invisible. If you've been waiting for the world to notice your growth, stop. You were never meant to bloom for others to witness. You were meant to bloom for your own becoming. This isn't about being seen. It's about being real. And when you are real fully, honestly, unapologetically, you attract what's meant for you without having to grasp for it. So if you're standing in this space wondering if anything is happening, know that everything is. You are not empty. You are full of wisdom, of timing, of purpose. And this season is not asking you to go out and prove anything. It's asking you to live like you already know who you are. That is your harvest. That is your revelation. And Leo, it's yours now, not someday. Not when you're more ready. Now. Just as you are. After a spiritual unveiling like the one you're walking through, it's easy to forget that the soul still lives in a body, and the energy you carry still flows through real, tangible actions. That's why this part of the journey matters just as much as any cosmic alignment or breakthrough. You're not just here to transcend, you're here to ground what you've received into everyday life. And that starts by taking care of your vessel, your choices, and your rhythm. Let's talk about your body first. You might feel more tired than usual, more sensitive to noise or crowds, or even strangely alert in the middle of the night. That's not just poor sleep. That's your nervous system adjusting to a new frequency. You've been doing emotional heavy lifting, Leo, even if it's been silent. Now's the time to give your body the same care you've been giving your spirit. Keep things simple. A warm glass of lemon water in the morning helps wake your cells gently. Vitamin B complex supports your stress response so your system isn't overreacting to energy shifts. And 3 minutes of deep breathing each morning, just 3, can help you stabilize that new vibration you're carrying. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. About letting your body know, I'm here with you. In terms of your work and finances, it's easy to confuse slow progress with failure, especially when the world moves fast and expects results. But this week, especially around November 3rd, don't mistake stillness for stagnation. If you feel like things aren't flowing, it's not a sign to push harder. It's a signal to pause and realign. Sometimes, the greatest progress happens not by charging forward, but by stepping back to see the whole picture. Don't rush into new contracts, big commitments, or long-term decisions unless your gut feels 100% clear. The astrology right now is better for recalibrating than for launching. Think of it like sailing. When the wind shifts, the wise thing isn't to keep pushing, it's to adjust your sails. When it comes to love and connection, this moment is calling for honesty, not just with others, but with yourself. If someone in your life is causing you to question your own intuition or making you feel like you have to shrink just to keep them close, pay attention. That's not alignment. That's compromise. And you didn't come this far just to shrink again. On the flip side, if you've been feeling disconnected from yourself, this is your gentle invitation to come home. To remember that self-love isn't a trend, it's a survival skill. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you deeply care for. Choose yourself like someone worth choosing. Because you are. Even your surroundings can help hold your frequency. Wear colors that reflect who you're becoming. Deep indigo or violet can help you stay tapped into your intuition when things get noisy. It's the shade of inner wisdom, of sacred silence. And gold, whether it's in your clothing, your jewelry, or just something near your desk, is more than just bright. It's a mirror of your solar power, your Leo core. It reminds you that you don't have to chase the light. You are the light. So as you move through this week, remember this: you don't need to rush to prove that something's changed. The way you breathe differently, choose differently, care differently, that's already the evidence. Your new season won't need announcement. It will be felt in every step you take. Stay grounded. Stay kind with yourself. Keep your energy clean. And trust that what's real will find you, not because you forced it but because you aligned. After all the inner shifts, revelations, and silent work you've done, this moment isn't about just watching something unfold. It's about becoming part of what unfolds. Energy doesn't just move on its own, it responds. It listens. It amplifies when there's presence behind it. So when I ask you to leave a comment below, yes, I mean it sincerely, but I also mean it energetically. Because when you declare something aloud, and especially when you do it in unity with others who are on a similar journey, that declaration doesn't just stay in a comment thread. It vibrates. It moves into the field, and it begins to attract what matches it. This is why spiritual alignment isn't just something you keep to yourself. It's something you activate through conscious choice. Think of it like this: the work you've done up to this point has prepared the soil, but it's your engagement that tells the universe, I'm ready to receive. Commenting, "I am aligned with my destiny 777, might sound simple, even symbolic, but in reality, it's a frequency. The number 7 in numerology is deeply connected to divine timing, introspection, and wisdom. And 777, it becomes a signal of spiritual alignment, of being in the right place at the right time for something extraordinary to take shape. Now here's the truth, Leo. You are not just here to receive energy. You are here to shape it. To influence it. Whether you realize it or not, the way you carry yourself through this week, the way you breathe, choose, speak, respond, it affects more than your own experience. You're a frequency holder. And there's something incredibly powerful about people like you showing up, not with noise, but with intention. You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to make the biggest impact. In fact, some of the most transformational energies are the quietest. Think of fireflies lighting up a dark field. Think of one candle that can shift the atmosphere of an entire space. That's you. You're not here to convince people of your worth. You're here to embody it. And when you do, people feel it even if they don't have the words for it. So this is more than interaction. It's integration. It's the moment where you don't just watch the message, you become it. You let your energy carry what you've received into your conversations, into your presence, into the way you hold space for others. That's how energy gets passed on. Not always through action, but through embodiment. And the beautiful part? You're not doing this alone. When hundreds, maybe thousands of people are all holding that same intention, even in different places, even in different languages, something shifts. The grid around us becomes lighter. The energetic weight many of us have been carrying suddenly begins to lift. Not because everything is solved, but because we've remembered that we're not isolated. We're connected. So yes, this is your moment. Not just to nod along, not just to reflect, but to participate. To say, I choose to align, and then to carry that alignment into your day, your choices, your energy field. That's how miracles begin, not from waiting, but from willingness. From resonance. So take a breath, check in with your heart, and if you feel the yes rising in you, let it speak. Leave your comment below. Not for me. For yourself. For the field. For the unseen forces that are already responding. You didn't come this far just to witness. You came to activate. And you're more powerful than you know. Leo, if you've made it this far, let me remind you, you're not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are not hoping something magical will happen outside of you. You are the miracle in motion. November 3rd isn't just a date. It's a mirror. And it's reflecting everything you've quietly become through seasons of doubt, surrender, growth, and faith. This is not the end of your journey. It's the gentle closing of a chapter that no longer fits, and the sacred unveiling of a version of you that's always been meant to lead, to shine, and to walk with quiet power. Maybe you've asked yourself for too long, when will it be my time? But what if I told you it's not about time choosing you, it's about you choosing to see that you already are the moment? What if you stopped waiting for life to prove something and instead lived like someone who already knows who they are? Because the version of you that's emerging doesn't beg for permission. They move from presence. They act from alignment. And the world begins to move around them, not because they demand it, but because they radiate something undeniable. The truth is, you don't need more proof that you're ready. You don't need more validation to trust your own rhythm. The shift you've been sensing isn't just coming, it's already begun. And your task now is not to grasp harder, but to allow more deeply. Allow yourself to take up space. To lead from your heart. To love yourself out loud. To walk into rooms like someone who belongs, not because of what you've achieved, but because of who you've become. So I ask you, from a real place, what's one thing you're willing to do differently after today? What belief are you ready to release? What part of yourself have you kept in the shadows that now deserves to rise into the light? Share it in the comments below. Say it out loud. Claim your space not just as a viewer, but as a participant in your own transformation. And if this message touched something in you, if it woke something deeper that you know you've been carrying, let yourself say it clearly. I am the moment I've been waiting for 777. Thank you for sharing this space with me, for opening your heart, and for simply being present. Your presence here supports this community more than you realize. Every like, every comment, every share, every subscription helps amplify this sacred work and helps the messages we explore here reach those who need it most. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness and turn on the notification bell. Not for me. For you. Because when the next message finds you, I want you to hear it right on time, just like this one did. Remember this, Leo, you're not stepping into something random. You're stepping into what has always been yours. You've evolved into it, grown into it, and now it's time to wear it. Not with fear, but with quiet, rooted confidence. Not with striving, but with stillness. Because the doorway isn't in front of you anymore. You've already walked through it. All that's left to do now is be who you already are.